Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video. Of course, this weekend Formula 1 is heading back to Losail and the Qatar Grand Prix, and I'll be honest, it's very quickly become one of my favourite Formula 1 circuits in recent times. It's high speed, it's rewarding, there is also plenty of runoff which allows for hopefully some good racing this weekend. But of course, obviously, Qatar, the Losail Grand Prix, is based out in the Middle East, and as someone from the Western world that is, as they've grown up, watched the Middle East doing more and more absolutely wild things. Earlier on this year, some of you might remember that a new circuit was announced that would be coming to Formula 1 in the not too distant future. Now, you're going to have to bear with my pronunciation here. I believe it's pronounced Qiddiya or Qiddiya. But it is hosting, or apparently going to be hosting, the 2028 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, I believe. Yes, Saudi Arabia intends on having 2 races as of that year. And this place, I've never driven a lap before. It was the circuit that obviously went viral for apparently featuring a corner called the Blade, which seems like in a country that still does beheadings is a controversial name to give a corner. But yeah, for the first time ever today, I'm going to try and drive the Qiddiya circuit and just see what it's going to be like. Well, if you're new around here, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed to the channel as well. We're trying to get as close as we can to 140,000 subs by the end of the year. But this is genuinely my first ever lap of this venue, and immediately, what on earth is this? We're just heading towards the sky. I can only assume this is actually the Blade as such. I think I've seen on the pictures, it is basically a hairpin just at the top of the hill, just to come straight back down the other side on the exit. You can see the start-finish line over there. This is going to be, I mean, imagine if you're in the slipstream with someone else coming back down here. You're going to be picking up ridiculous speed. Again, I think we just kind of make our way around here. We've got another big braking zone coming up. Now, this circuit is meant to be 8 kilometers long, or about just under 5 miles, if I'm not mistaken, or the layout that we're on today. Now, that would be longer than Spa, which obviously already is technically too long to be an FIA Grade 1 circuit by 4 meters immediately in Spa's case. So, yeah, this place, obviously, if we raced on this layout that we're driving on today, would become the longest Formula 1 circuit currently on the calendar. Now, obviously, the mod creator, I'll leave a link to them down in the description below. They've tried to do everything they sensibly can. Of course, the surrounding areas, I'm sure, will get built up with, well, who knows what, out in the Middle East. There's so much oil money going around the place, and you never quite know what they're going to do next, as apparently we've got a nice kind of street circuit section coming up next, and then we're apparently going through a tunnel as well. Now, obviously, there's a roller coaster, which reminds me of kind of the Nürburgring or Sochi, and apparently another brutal hairpin. What? They've just kind of tried to go, right, what is everything we can throw into a race circuit and try to kind of fit all the pieces together? I mean, this bit's quite cool in the sense of, it kind of feels like you're racing through the city and things like that. But of course, I don't believe it's being built in a city. I believe it's kind of being built in this new area that is kind of going to be designed around this Formula 1 Grand Prix and is meant to be an entertainment hub of the world. Now, I probably should preface this as well. This is not sponsored by Aramco or the Saudi government or anything like that, understandably. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have made that a heading reference in the intro. But because so much of Formula 1 now is controlled by, like, the Middle East and things like that, it worries me that I kind of have to say that, so many big sponsors now obviously are all just, oil money backed. And Jamie and I have given this place a bit of stick before on the podcast. We refuse to be bought out by Saudi money, whether that's for better or for worse in the future. But yeah, this channel won't suddenly be Aramco sponsored or things like that in the near future. That's 1 lap complete, and I'm pretty certain it took us just over 3 minutes, which is slightly alarming, so we'll try and go for a bit of a quicker one then. I mean, up here is so unbelievably stupid. We will obviously do a race in this car, obviously, as well in a minute, but why? Like, why is this a thing? Why does it need to be a thing? Of course, we're already seeing, like, what's it, the line that's apparently being built as well. In I think it's Saudi Arabia as well, isn't it? I think Saudi Arabia is the one that is, well, I wouldn't say smoking the most stuff, because obviously that's highly illegal out there, but yeah, it is just, I mean, what are people taking to come up with this kind of thing?
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Is it just a case of we've got too much money that we don't know what to do with? I never really do understand, ultimately, there. As I enter the second DRS zone again, then, I feel like I'm slowly learning where some of this track goes, but it would certainly take a lot to really try and get a good lap out of it. Now, from a purely racing standpoint, that's a good place to go for moves. I'm sure the Blade as well. It's probably a pretty good spot to try and make some overtakes. This corner, I feel like if you're right up behind someone, potentially you could try and throw one down the inside. But then through this final sector, I'm struggling to see where you're going to be able to do a lot. I don't think the run into this corner is long enough that you're ever really going to be able to do anything. Because again, apparently, I forgot just how tight that hairpin is as well there. But yeah, I mean, I did try and obviously have a look, because I believe Qatar wants to obviously change where they're hosting their Grand Prix as well in the near future. But I couldn't find any mod, because kind of no one really knows what's going on with that still. So yeah, that's why I came to Qiddiya today. I was either going to come here, or my other plan was to do a video around the Dubai Autodrome. That place is pretty boring in comparison to this one. I mean, this is just so unbelievably stupid. If I was a betting man, I think they are going to end up racing on a layout of this at some point in the future. You know, there's just so much money being thrown in Formula 1 that, of course, they'll make it happen there. So that's going to be a bit more of a representative lap time. That is a 2:23. So ridiculous. I mean, obviously, yeah, the Formula 1 drivers will probably be 10 seconds a lap faster. They're surely going to have to race on a different version. I cannot see them doing this. But, I mean, if you lock wheels, I mean, it would have to be absolutely perfect. But if you lock wheels and went over the top of that, I think there would be a lawsuit on many, many people's hands as well there. But what on earth is this venue? I've not seen a video that anybody's done on it so far, so I don't know kind of what other people's thoughts and feelings are about this place as well. But it is just so unbelievably stupid. We'll find out kind of what the AI are like I said, in just a moment. But I mean, learning a new venue is not something I have to do very often anymore. But clearly here today, I absolutely have to. I want to try and get one absolute hot lap though nailed. But I think that's going to be quite difficult to do as well. If I try and go, I can't remember what my button is to change my camera angle. Give me just a moment. Well, here we go then. I've managed to move myself over onto kind of a T-cam position, ready to hopefully give you guys a bit of a better perspective as to what we're dealing with here at that final corner. Say again, I mean, whatever angle you go from, the blade just looks ridiculous. Why on earth this would ever be a thing, I have no idea. I mean, it's nothing else but just a big waste of concrete. As obviously trying to assemble this over the hairpin at the top of the hill. Obviously trying to get a good run off the corner there using the exit curve is as important as pretty much any other corner on the lap, because again, obviously you've got this huge downhill section. This corner, I think, is just about completely flat, quite comfortable actually, on the exit, and then you're straight braking down into a hairpin. I mean, again, it kind of opens up and closes in quite oddly, but I'm sure you can make some overtakes there. This section I'm actually a fair fan of. Flick it in through the slight right and try and attack the curbs through the right. I mean, that's kind of like a disjointed Maggots and Beckett's. And apparently a barrel roll for style points. You know? And then, yeah, I mean, again, you kind of open out onto this next flat out section. It kind of feels like they've tried to build a few DRS zones and the blade, and have just tried to kind of fit everything else into it. It is very, very weird. Through this next hairpin, second gear there, it does open up nicely. Once we're on the exit before you go through this kind of section that reminds me of Vietnam. Then you've obviously got this 90-degree left-hander where you are throwing it over the bumps. This is easily my worst corner of the lap so far. Going to try and brake really early that time around. I mean, you throw it through the inside there. Try to avoid the wall on the exit as well. And then, I mean, this section is all kind of just get as close to the wall as you dare on the exit. And try and get the car back over before you hang on to it. Fifth gear through the exit there, probably sixth. or maybe even 7th gear if you're a better driver than I am. Open up the DRS zone again in towards these final few corners, so you want to be eyeing up about 100-meter board into there. Try and just meet the apex. Luckily, again, the circuit kind of opens up on the exit. This corner's deceptively narrow as well. As we try and put the power down. One more corner to go. Brake and try and drag the front of the car in through that double apex there. Get on the throttle on the exit. That's going to be a 2:19.6. We are slowly bringing up the pace in this car. But anyway, let's go into a race and see just how insane this place is. Well, here we are then, ladies and gents, ready for the inaugural Qiddiya Grand Prix. It is 6 red lights, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go. The sun has set, because I'm sure they'll make this a night race, because the temperatures will be too warm otherwise. And let's see what we can do then as we make our way. I mean, as a first corner goes, this one is pretty mental. There are a few drivers experimenting with that DRS. We're going to try and keep it fairly tidy. Oh, through turn 1, a little bit of a lock-up. As we'll try and hang it around the outside there. Get on the throttle on the exit, surely down here. And again, we are going to be picking up big speed as we make our way down the hill. I mean, the floodlight's doing a pretty good job at the moment. We've got a 5-lap race ahead of us. So it should take about 10 minutes there, as we've still got some cars going wheel to wheel through the next couple of corners. Yellow flags out there as well. Someone's gone for a spin. We're going to get tagged on the exit. Come on, hold on to her. No. Just one car going wide. I thought I found a gap, but apparently not. Well, I think our plan has got to be to try and make up some places in towards turn 1. Whoa, and then try and hang on to them as best as we can there. So maybe the inside line wouldn't be the ideal place to be, simply just because of that camber up the top there. But we're going to try and use it to the best of our ability and not realise. I mean, we did almost fire him off the side of the road there. That could have been really bad. What on earth is this? So we back down into last? No, there are still a couple of cars behind me. So I think we're just going to try and chase people and see if... I just want to try and get a couple of laps hooked up here. I mean, if this Grand Prix did happen, I'm pretty certain it would be less than 40 laps. I'm trying to do the maths in my head. I think it would be 36 laps, which actually, as a Grand Prix, if the lap times were kind of around the 2:10, wouldn't be that ridiculous. That curb is impossible, apparently. Whoever made this mod, can you fix that curb? Well, yeah, anyway, as I was trying to say, though, yeah, I think this race would only be 36, 37 laps, as I'm just going to try to ignore the AI just yeeting each other off at every possible opportunity. Like that. What on earth was that by the fake Aston Martin car? As he threw it down her inside there and pushed us out of the way. Again, we're going to see a couple of retirements, I think, on lap 1. I'm sure, yeah, if we do ever race it, then that would be the same story IRL. But the annoying thing is, with this circuit, is apart from a few corners, it's actually quite fun to drive inside this game. That doesn't help. We'll go underneath someone. I think there was 2 cars, actually, that I went underneath. But yeah, with a few, like, these couple of corners, I'm not a fan of. This one especially is, I mean, this mod makes that corner near impossible with this car. You kind of just got to throw it through and hope the bump doesn't spit you out at a horrible angle. But, I mean, again, these corners, not really what I'd class as kind of Formula 1 safe, but I guess if you've got Jeddah now on the calendar, then anything is really possible. But it's, weirdly, yes, some of the corners have a really nice flow to them. Some of them are actually quite fun as well. Like I said, this corner I actually really enjoy. And then, you know, the exit kind of opens up for you, so it doesn't matter if you run a little bit wide. But, yeah, the AI, again, clearly have other ideas. You know, some of it feels nicely thought out. Just a lot of it doesn't. But anyway, we're going to survive lap 1 then this time round, which is better than I've done most times. So, as we make our way back up the hill once more, what kind of speed are we getting, even on the uphill? We've been doing over... What's that? 310 kph, so about 190 miles an hour before we're on the brakes. That isn't bad going, you know. It's a pretty steep uphill section, so you've got to be careful on the exit curve. We'll try and duck into the slipstream of this guy in front. But, I mean, there's plenty of space for grandstands as well. I mean, if it's based in the city, then I'm sure they'd sell hotel tickets and that kind of thing. It still feels like that's something they've missed with Vegas. Obviously, the real-life Las Vegas Grand Prix last weekend feels like you could make some decent packages out of that as well there, but wheel to wheel, yeah, I don't fancy that. How on earth they found the grip around the outside there is nothing short of impressive. But I mean, yeah, like that corner as well, you know, you kind of over camber everything, you know, really trying to just hang on to the car on the exit. That's quite enjoyable. But, you know, they've kind of built up this high-speed section, as hello to that random AI, and then kind of ruined it in sections with, I mean, all of this that has to feel... Why does every modern Formula 1 circuit have to have either be a street circuit or feel like a street circuit? Can't we get more kind of fun race circuits? You know, there's a reason why, like, Silverstone, for example, at least up to this point, I would argue, still gave us the best race of 2024. As we're just going to try and block these guys, maybe? I just want to go. What are we doing? I guess that's good. Ow. Can we try and keep back up with them? I don't think we will. I think we've lost sight of the AI again. I'm going to try and chase them down, I feel. But, I mean, yeah, what a ridiculous, just such a... How many times am I going to say it, but such a stupid venue as well, though. And I mean, like I said, anywhere else in the world, I would never expect this thing to actually be completed. But because it's Saudi Arabia, I can see it happening. I can see us having a race on this. Like, the FIA bending the rules about circuit length and things like that as well to kind of make this happen, which seems so unbelievable to say even, like, 5 years ago. But that's kind of where we're at with the Liberty Media takeover of Formula 1 as well. I mean, we've lost 5 cars from this race. We are down currently in last, but I think that would be pretty good going, based on what we've got going on here. I mean, the other thing as well, you're never going to race Formula 2 or Formula 3 here. I'm sure, I can't wait to see W Academy in their little Formula 4 cars trying to go all the way up there. That would be just hilarious. But, I mean, what other racing series is going to come here? It's far too long for Formula E, surely. You know, you're able to get like 4 or 5 laps done, you know, before the battery recharge is a problem. What else? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to them, does it? I know Jeddah, at the end of this year, in a few weeks' time, has got an 8-hour or 6-hour endurance race, I think, going on around it as well, which is going to be ridiculous. And they are doing a short version of Jeddah for Formula E as well. I mean, I know there are shorter layouts of this around here, but I don't know kind of where they go or anything like that. But yeah, it does just kind of bode the question of what on earth would they do with this place? Like, how on earth, like, what else is it going to be used for? Because, I mean, it would not make a good GT3 circuit. I mean, apparently they want to put NASCAR on here. That seems beyond, like, there's no way a NASCAR would be fun around this venue. Like, to be fair, a Formula 1 car feels incredibly sketchy. Imagine a NASCAR with older style brakes and things like that, and nowhere near the downforce that a Formula 1's car's got. It just... If it wasn't out in the Middle East, there's no way this thing would exist. But that's the world we live in, I guess, at the end of the day. Again, this video is not sponsored by Saudi Aramco or anything like that, rather unsurprisingly there. But I mean, this guy just off in the gravel trap, okay. I feel like I am slowly getting the hang of this circuit just a little bit more, though. I mean, it's the other thing I think of as well. Imagine this circuit's in real life in 2028 on the calendar. How on earth are Codemasters and EA gonna do this? How bad would it be for league racing and all that kind of thing? You know, it's all those little things that you just think about going.
He's probably thinking about other girls.
It's so unbelievably stupid. But yeah, it's probably going to happen. I mean, we have caught up to someone. Still getting chronic understeer over the top of the hill there. So we'll try and run a little bit wide on the exit, avoid that curving as best as we can. Yeah, like I said, let me know your kind of thoughts and feelings on this place down in the comments below. But if this is... I mean, this might not be a particularly accurate representation for all I know. It might be that this circuit is actually going to end up being quite different to this. Or never appear. But if it does, let me know your kind of thoughts and feelings around it. Because it is so wild. it kind of... I genuinely am struggling to believe this place could be real. It feels like a track out of Mario Kart. Like, I'm struggling to wrap my head around the idea that Formula 1 could legitimately be racing here in... You know, it's not even that it's 20 years' time or anything like that. It's a few years from now. 3 years from now. Yeah, it's just...
What the dog doing?
Great. I love that. I absolutely love that. Just coming around a blind corner to an AI in the way. I want to try one more thing before I finish off this video. I just want to see if I can ramp off the blade. What I'm going to try and do, give the AI a little bit of a head start, and then I'm going to try and just go full speed in towards turn 1, just to see if I can kind of get the right angle and maybe go, well, to the skies. I think is up into 8th gear we'll go then. You can see the AI starting to brake now. Can I hit them? I might have sent one of them off. No, there he is. So, I mean, imagine... I see, it never really happens in Formula 1 anymore, but imagine if someone did have a brake failure or something like that. It just... I mean, what speed can we get if we go the wrong way? I can't wait to see the Hour of Challenge videos here as well. He's going to clickbait this place beyond belief. What kind of speed can you get with the DRS if we go down the hill? Let's have a look. Right, open up the DRS then. That is 250 clicks. 280. Oh, that's not fair, AC. Absolutely ruins it for me right at the end. Thank you all so much, though, for watching this video. I might have had a bit of an existential crisis about halfway through. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on the ridiculous Qiddiya circuit as well down in the comments below. Do you think we're ever actually going to race here? You know, what are your thoughts and feelings on the blade and everything else? But yeah, that's going to do us for this one. And we'll be back later on this week with more Formula 1 content.